Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Laura, aka Baby Curl Tarot. I am a tarot reader, astrology enthusiast, and root worker. And this series breaks down the weekly major transits happening, astrologically speaking, and how they may affect you on a personal level. So if you watched last week's video, we had a pretty mellow week. This week, not so much. We have the full moon in Leo, which is already a bold, expressive, somewhat dramatic energy. But then on top of that, we have a couple of aspects on Monday and Tuesday leading up to that is kind of compounding that energy. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Okay, so Monday, February 10th, we have a square between Mercury in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. This energy is essentially a mini Mercury retrograde, in my opinion. Um, First of all, Aquarius and Uranus are buddies. Uranus is the planetary ruler of Aquarius. So Uranus represents sudden and unexpected changes. It also represents innovation and new ways of thinking or doing things. And Aquarius is the sign that rules over the larger community or collective of people instead of focusing on the individual. And it also rules things like the internet, technology. Uranus rules over lightning and technology as well. So expect unexpected things to happen with technology, just like a Mercury retrograde, right? So miscommunications in terms of technology or things not working properly. Double check that things are backed up when it comes to your computers or your phones or anything that you need that's super important. Because I do feel like there's going to be some disruptions Monday and Tuesday, but we'll get into Tuesday here in a minute. Um, what else? On a larger scale, on a community scale, um, there could be some disruptions across lots of people's technology. So I'm thinking like power outages, or censorship, or certain applications being down, or like something like Google going down and not having access to it. Um, what else? There's also a financial aspect to this because we do have Taurus in there as well. So there could be issues with the stock market, or if you've been watching the news and seeing somebody taking certain financial information from our government's databases, there could be more unexpected news events or developments in that type of situation. Okay, disruptions in terms of like Social Security and other government funded programs that assist people financially. There could be some big shifts that we hear about in the news. Societal topics in general are going to be a big topic of discussion or focal point in the media. So when it comes to laws that have recently been put in place or new laws being put into place, we could see more of that happening this week. We could also see more topics around social justice or, community-based programs and things that help people, like I said. And then also protests. There's obviously been a lot of protesting, and this particular energy is very rebellious. Aquarius is a very rebellious energy, and with it being paired up against its ruling planet of Uranus, I think this could be really, really explosive. This could be like a boiling point, especially since we have the full moon in Leo. And again, we'll talk about that more when I get there. But I mean, things are just compounding. Emotions are compounding, outrage is compounding, and that's what I'm getting here. On a personal level, we may feel very mentally overstimulated. So, again, if you are someone that is easily affected by things happening in the news, just really focus on regulating and grounding yourself. If you need to turn it off, turn it off. Like, honestly, this is a lot for anybody to manage on top of everything else you have going on. So, just be aware of that, okay? So, like I said, mentally overstimulated, irritable, argumentative, very blunt in the way that we communicate, and just generally feeling a lack of focus mentally. How can you navigate this? Just like I said, double check that everything is backed up when it comes to your computers, your phones, anything that's important. Make sure it's functioning properly. Um, Double check any communication that you're sending, especially like emails or text messages, things like that. Just double check. Make sure what you meant to say is what's on that page or whatever before you send it. And take extra time when it comes to making decisions, because obviously you may not be seeing things clearly or understanding things necessarily clearly. It could kind of blow up in a way that you're not really expecting if you're not really paying attention and reading that fine print. I would not recommend signing any contracts or any documents that are important right now. I'd wait till maybe like next week. Um, the biggest thing is to just stay flexible and calm. Again, Uranus is that planet that pushes us to think outside of the box, get out of your comfort zone, and so is Aquarius. So there is a lot of that here. It's going to push us to be very creative and to do things a little bit differently and get a little disruptive ourselves. If you can't beat them, join them, right? Like, let's do something different. And yeah, I don't know if beat them, join them is the right one I want to use, but hopefully you understood where I was coming from. If you can't beat it, like, let's find a way to work around it or with it in some way, if that makes sense. Again, finding creative solutions and also speaking up. Like I said, this is a very rebellious energy. So, speaking up, protesting, joining a social cause that you feel called to is going to be likely and very important. A lot of people are going to be upset and angry and want to see things change. So, this is a good time to get involved with something that can push what you want to see change in the world and actually put some action behind that. Excuse me. Just be very careful if you are speaking up, like, say, in a workplace environment. Try to be as tactful as possible, because things you say can come back and bite you in the butt. Okay. Like I said, Aquarius is a very blunt energy. So just watch what you say. We are going to be feeling this energy between February 6th and February 14th. My fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, and Leos, you guys are going to feel this the most. Now, I have a lot of Scorpio placements, and I will tell you that I started feeling this lack of focus last week on the 6th, around the 6th. So this is a really, really tricky energy and it is very strong. So if you guys have been feeling it, please leave a comment and let me know how you've been feeling it as well. All right, and Tuesday, February 11th, we essentially have the exact same thing happening, the exact same type of energy. It is the Sun in Aquarius in a square with Uranus in Taurus. So we're basically getting a double dose of what happened on Monday. So, like I said, this is a big, loud, dramatic week. It's very restless, it's very rebellious and unpredictable. Like I said, disruptions in the news, disruptions in terms of like power outages, technology outages, financial issues, both on a personal and like national level, more social justice and different laws kind of coming into play. Like thunderstorms could also be a thing, and maybe even earthquakes, just because we have some of that earth energy with Taurus there. Again, how to navigate this, like I said, in the Mercury square of Uranus aspect, is double check everything technology wise, make sure everything is backed up and everything is up to date. Double check your communications and make sure you're rereading that email or that text message before you send it. Stay flexible, stay calm, find creative solutions to kind of work with what it is that is happening around you. Speak up if you feel called to. Just be careful about speaking up in very personal spaces like your job or with friends and family. Things may come back to bite you in the butt. But this is a really good time to get involved with humanitarian causes, volunteering, charitable work, things like that. Protesting is going to be big. So if you feel like you need to be out protesting and speaking up for your rights or whatever the case is, this is a great time to do so. With that, like I also said, practice grounding techniques. There is going to be a lot going on in the news, I think, this week. So it will be overwhelming. It will be overstimulating. it will feel debilitating for those of us who are more empathic. So just take your time, deep breaths, turn the TV off if you need to, and just sit and meditate. Do whatever you need to do to help yourself feel calmer. This energy started around February 4th, and we're going to be feeling this until about February 18th. It just peaks on the 11th. And again, my fixed signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus placements, we are going to be feeling this the most. Yeah, I told you guys, it's a doozy of a week. It is a doozy of a week. Now, on top of the square between the Sun and Uranus, we also have a second transit happening on Tuesday, the 11th, which is Mercury in Aquarius trining Lilith, or the Black Moon, in Libra. A trine is actually really supportive energy, so I really like this, which makes me think that there's going to be some positive outcomes to all of this madness, hopefully in the favor of the people, right? So, again, we have Aquarius here in Mercury. This is a very bold and rebellious type of energy. So, people are going to be very, very vocal about what they believe in when it comes to protests, challenging authority, social justice, equality in general, and also sharing hidden information. I feel like this particular energy could be hackers spilling some information that can help the general community of people. That could show up. There could be an exposure of some type of hidden agenda in the news, social media, calling attention to certain things that could be helpful in terms of making positive progress in a social environment. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say here. Outside of that, this is a very creative, expressive, and authentic energy. So again, a lot of people are going to be speaking their truth, sharing personal stories that are related to things that are happening in the news and media, or in the nation in general. So there is going to be a lot of people sharing how things are impacting them on a personal level and using those stories to create some sort of movement, okay, to make social change and seek that balancing aspect to social things that are happening. Sorry, I'm like, again, mentally and vocally, I'm having trouble staying focused. So just bear with me, but hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. We are going to be feeling this energy between February 6th and February 16th. And my air signs, you guys are going to be feeling this most. So Aquarius, Libras, and Geminis, you guys will definitely be, I think, more of the vocal ones or feeling the need to speak out. You don't have to be an Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini sun sign. You could have these placements in other planets or places in your chart that makes sense for this type of energy. Finally, we get to Wednesday, February 12th, full moon in Leo. This is going to be a expressive, bold, and dramatic full moon. Like everything that has been leading up to Wednesday is all coming to a head, essentially, because full moons are the peak of built up energy, and we have been building up a lot of emotions surrounding events and things happening socially. Honestly, for the last few weeks, but this week in particular, it just feels like an explosion. Okay, so full moons built up emotional energy, releasing endings, releasing things and endings in general. It can also be celebrations and big unexpected emotions. Now, if you have ever heard the saying, like, all the crazies come out on the full moon, that's this one for sure. Like, I'm kind of thinking that we're going to be seeing not only protests or more protests, but there could be more agitated demonstrations around this day as well, maybe even counter reactions to certain protests. So, again, if you are going to be out protesting and doing things like that, please be very safe, be very careful. Like I said, this could be an explosive energy where things just come to a head. And depending on where Leo falls in your personal chart, you're going to be feeling this differently on a personal level. I did make a video or a set of videos on my TikTok and Instagram channels or pages that kind of break it down based off of your rising sign. So if you want to check those out, you can find my Instagram and TikTok handles in the description below, and you can check it out there. All right, Thursday, February 14th or 13th. I'm sorry. By the way, if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. This is a lot of information to memorize, so I am making sure I'm staying on track here. But Thursday, February 13th, we have a trine between the Sun in Aquarius and Lilith, or the Black Moon, in Libra. Very similar to the energy we saw on Tuesday between Mercury and Lilith. So again, a very supportive energy, which I love. The biggest differences here, though, compared to Tuesday, is that it's less talking and more showing up. It's like, be about it. What are you doing to help? What are you doing to implement the changes that you want to see in the world? So, this showing up could also be more on the creative front, which is why I feel my creatives, my artists, my spiritual workers are definitely going to be needed more and more and more. The next couple of years, but this could show up in art, music, fashion, and even expressing yourselves and your sexuality. Obviously, there is a lot of things happening in the US. As someone who is part of the queer community, there is a lot of policies that are affecting people in the queer community, specifically trans and non-binary people. So we could see a lot of protests or art showing up that expresses who we are, and not only who we are, but how we fit into society and why we matter and why our stories matter, things of that nature. So there's a lot of authenticity showing up and just being boldly, authentically ourselves more than ever, both on a community scale, but also like in our smaller communities. Okay, so nationwide and then smaller communities as well. People are going to be a lot more bold, but it's a positive thing. It's not an aggressive thing, if that makes sense. How to navigate this energy: participate in activities that make you feel empowered in your body or in your community. Find like-minded individuals. Okay, speak your truth, especially when it comes to different art forms. You can volunteer or advocate for causes that you believe in, and just generally shine your light as brightly and as loudly as you can, just by showing up as yourself. Okay, we're going to be feeling this energy between February 4th and February 22nd, and the air signs again are going to be feeling this the most. So Aquarius, Libra, Gemini placements. It's all you, baby. And finally, the last big transit of the week is on Friday, February 14th, where we have Mercury moving into Pisces. Mercury is the planet of communication, thinking, and our thought processes in general. So when Mercury is in Pisces, we are much more intuitive and spiritually inclined when it comes to the things we think about or how we communicate. We're also a lot more creative, artistic, idealistic, and imaginative. We're also a lot more compassionate and empathetic, which I think we need a lot more of right now, for sure. It's also a little bit more gentle and soft-spoken. It can also be seen as mysterious. And we have a little bit more fluidity in the way that we think, or the way we think about things. So we can grasp more abstract concepts versus more logical and like structured concepts, or tangible concepts, if that makes sense. This can also make us feel a little bit more scattered mentally too. So just keep that in mind if you're feeling like a little lost in the sauce. Don't be surprised. It's a very dreamy, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a very dreamy type of energy. So it's easy to kind of get lost in the dream world, if you know what I'm saying. Mercury will be in Pisces through March 3rd, and the signs that are actually going to be benefiting from this the most are going to be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio placements, so all the water signs, as well as Taurus and Capricorn placements. The signs that are going to be struggling with this the most are going to be Virgo, Gemini, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius placements. So, like I said, there's no more major transits coming up over the weekend. We will obviously still be feeling the after effects of all of the transits that happened earlier in the week. So you still may see a lot of things happening in the news and people still out and being very, communicative and looking to collaborate and make things happen, which is going to be beautiful. It's just going to be a little less loud over the weekend. Next week is also a little bit more mellow, thank goodness. We do have one kind of irritating energy towards the middle of the week, but we are going to be moving into Pisces season, meaning the sun will be moving into Pisces. And then Mars will finally station direct after being retrograde for what feels like forever. So, all that said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please leave a like and share with someone else if you feel like they would enjoy it. Also, don't forget to leave a comment if you've been feeling some of these energies and how they've been showing up for you. Until I see you next time, please stay safe and blessed. Okay, bye.